Sundays.
Why I'm voting no on immigration reform. In it, he says he made his decision for one simple reason, because the legislation does not secure the borders first. Here to explain the decision is the man himself, Senator Rand Paul. Senator, welcome back.
Good to be with you, Sean.
It's pretty simple to me that this was something that from the very beginning, conservatives
who have been
against any plan for legalization or green cards, like yourself, would have changed.
And then I can always add if I think it looks like it needs more. I always do that.
You know, I told them from the very beginning I was open to immigration reform as long as it was dependent on securing the border first. And I was very explicit about this, but apparently nobody listened or cared. I also thought it was important that when we determine whether the border's secure, that Congress should determine this, not the president. I don't have a lot of trust left over for the current president, but I really don't trust any president to make this decision. I think Congress, the representatives of the people, should determine whether the border's secure.
Yeah, I was a little surprised, page 35, line 24, that Napolitano has veto power. The power to veto the border fence and where to put it.
So what do you do, like mash it with a potato masher or something to kind of get the consistency that you need, or
for some kind of youth jobs program? That's as much as they were going to spend on the fence.
Well, yeah,
but then they also threw in a veto for Janet Napolitano to be able to veto the fence if she thinks the border's secure. That's the problem, leaving it up to the president. The president thinks the border's secure now. So
what if my nail polish chips off or something? I'll just use a potato masher. It's okay. That's why I have it.
Every day. Don't they believe that America has the right to sovereign borders? What do they tell you?
I think many are running scared and want to just pass something. It doesn't matter exactly what is in the bill. They want to be in favor of immigration reform. And I'm in favor of it, but the details are important. I try to read the bills. It's 1,200 pages. We got it on Monday. We worked our way through it as quickly as we can. But the thing is that I think for some it's a symbolism of this, and they're not too concerned whether we allow veto over the fence or whether we throw $1.5 billion in there for a jobs program.
Yeah, I always expected that the House
would only do sounds like cherry yum yum on a budget.
Sources in Washington tonight are
I might do it in a graham cracker crust.
The leading bill that is being discussed in the House of Representatives is a bill that would give a 5-year temporary legal status to illegal immigrants.
That sounds a lot.
And then if the border is not secure,
temperature is this?
Are you hearing the same thing?
I'm hearing a little bit of that.
No, on the crumbs, on the crumbs,
it's never coming back. So that's why my amendment secured the border, you vote on it. When it's secure, then you begin gradually normalizing the people, but you still get more votes. Each year you get another vote. And I spoke to one of the leading conservatives.
I'll just bake the pie crust until it's done, and then I'll put
he was interested in my idea. I'm continuing to talk to conservatives in the House with the hope that they will vote for Congress to decide when the border secure.
Not all the way
done. And that they won't start the process until we've had at least a year to do securing the border.
Well, my fear is that they will pass
border
security
first.
I always assumed they would. Now I have some doubt. And that
but
you
how
have a conference, and then
I don't know how long, then.
So
tell me how long.
Tend to win. And then what does Speaker Boehner do at that point? Do you have any idea? Have you spoken to him?
Well, you know, I was pleased to hear his comments.
So cook the pie crust how long if I'm going to cook it for 30 minutes?
Something unless a majority of Republicans are for it. The chance that we get the Senate bill, the only chance the Senate bill could pass in the House is if it passes with 30 or 40 Republicans and 180 Democrats. If Speaker Boehner is going to hold to his word and say it has to have a majority of Republicans, I think we'll get a better bill. But what I'm hoping they will say is, let's do this.
It should also be like working out and stuff too.
Let's have triggers in there that
really
making
it hurt, not just the bruise moving over the thing.
And then legalization comes after.
But I'm on an elliptical. I'm on like the most low
speech today when he said he would sidestep.
No, should I do that? No, she didn't do that. She gave me some muscle relaxers.
Executive fiat.
You know, I think he has a pattern of this, and this is one reason why a lot of us in the country are worried about it, which way and which direction he's taking the country. I don't like the idea of unelected bureaucrats writing law and making law. If he tries to do this, we will have a vote in the Senate. We have something called the Congressional Review Act, and if he writes a regulation or tries to have a new carbon tax or is voting on it,
my hamstrings and my
the question is, can we defeat him, or will the the Democrats stay lockstep behind him, and that's what
Cause I
they've
did
done in
like
the past.
2.5
One of
miles
the
today.
saddest things
That
is we're watching this whole
yeah.
Edward Snowden fiasco
I did
unfold,
like
and
2.5
Vladimir
miles
Putin
in 30
basically
minutes.
thumbing his nose and his thumb in the eye of
So it's
America.
about 5 miles an hour.
Is
Yeah,
the Wall Street
running.
Journal writes today that America's impotent. Do you
That's
think
why
they
I
view
like
us as
that
weak
elliptical.
or
I burned
enemies?
300 calories.
You know, I think it's hard
Of
to tell.
whatever I ate
think
today,
that
I
there's a great
burned
deal of
300 calories.
sympathy
I burned
around
that
the world
300 calories
for
up doing
privacy
that
on the
thing.
internet. In fact, I hear from some of the internet service
That's the
providers
best.
and the search engine people
I
that their
really
trouble
like it.
really isn't with anger in America right now. Their trouble is with anger in Europe. People
But I
really
try not to
upset
do
about
it
their
like
privacy
every
being
day. I
invaded.
try to like
And so I
space
think
it
there's a
out
lot
so
of sympathy
that I
out
can
there.
let my
Maybe not
body recuperate
necessarily
because my
for the
knees and
idea
stuff
of who
hurt
the
and
leaker is, but
my
for the
ankles
concept
and
of
stuff are
privacy.
kind of hurting.
I think there's a lot of sympathy
I was
around the world
getting
for that.
like some neuropathy on my left foot.
Scandals and all the issues that we're discussing. And gun control,
Just depends on
immigration,
how I'm
and global
standing.
warming are at the lowest level in terms of
When I'm
people's
on the
priorities.
elliptical,
But the most
because you
frequent
move your
words
feet,
now
but you don't
used
move them
according to
like
Pew
you're
to
walking.
describe President
You're
Obama
standing
are
on those little
incompetent
platforms,
and
and those
lying.
are moving your
What is
feet.
that? What's your take
So
on
like
that?